here in front of us, so very close.
We have made it to El Chaltén, the most touristic place of the Argentine Patagonias. But how did we get to this when we started the day here?
What is going on?
The plan is simple: become the first to drive Argentina to Alaska in a Tuk Tuk. I'm Ryan, an ambitious Australian looking for some adventure. It's been a year now since adopting Patty as a first-time dog owner, and so far, we've tackled buying a marketplace bucket of bolts in Bolivia, faced a multi-day border blockade, endured emergency highway protests in North Argentina, and got split up from each other after Chile denied my dog's entry.
We're packing up to set out on the road to rejoin once again with Route 40 after we screwed up and drove off Route 40 yesterday. As far as the eye can see, it's dirt. Good morning, legends. We had another successful stealth camp, unbothered all night. I reckon Paddy slept good too. So we've got one mission today, and that's to get to El Chaltén and to complete the rest of this dirt road send. Hopefully 3 hours of driving. Probably gonna be more like 4 or 5.
And she's still got her foot thing.
She knows what she needs, so I think that I'm just gonna let her do her thing.
Estás bien, che? Just chilling.
Paddy's all being farty free, so you can do your thing. This is a sign of signs saying 61 Ks until we're off this dirt road. That's fantastic. And these are the 2 reasons we're driving this dirt road, because they're just gorgeous spots. Patty, place. Did you do your business? Are you gonna keep farting in the back, please? Patty. Right on cue, ladies and gentlemen. I've been odometer watching, and on the kilometer mark where the guy said, yo, it's gonna get worse because it's just gonna get rocky, it has. And between my legs, that is a solar panel that was on the roof. It's fallen down. It fell down on that kilometer mark, so like I'll show you. 61 kilometers like this. It's more like 58 now. Oh boy.
So we've got wind at a maximum, and the road conditions are as worse as we've seen this whole entire time on this highway. We're nearly there. Oh, we've still got a ways to go. It's just full of this, and you can see the road ahead. It's just doing these ones, you know? And especially with my 8-inch tires, right? They're basically tires from a freaking wheelbarrow. Patty's doing all right. She's farting a bunch, and she's not doing anything about it yet, so there you go. Off you go. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, ¿cómo está usted?
La puerta, todo.
¿De dónde es usted?
Soy de Australia.
De Australia. Nosotros miramos el cocodrilo dandy.
Sí, es un cuchillo, ¿viste?
Sí.
¿Sabes esto? Sí.
Eso no es un cuchillo. Esto es un cuchillo.
¿Te gusta Argentina?
Sí, me encanta.
¿Y las argentinas?
Me encanta.
Gonna get me in trouble.
Peligrosa. Es mucho. Cuídate, sí. People are just like, kind of like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Especially in this wind as well. And me asking and saying, you know, it's pretty far. Like, I'm looking at his vehicle like, how are you gonna make it? Well, we just made him this, so I guess anything's possible. How cool. And him saying, do you like Argentina? Yeah. And what about the Argentinians? Funny guy. It's rough. It's really rough. Just some terrible rock and gravel. If we started on this, I would have been kind of freaking out. My goodness. Just trying to hold it steady, really. Frick, man. We made it. Look at that, Putty. Look at that. We're back on bitumen and we're met with the strongest winds we've seen on this whole entire trip so far. Seatbelt is telling me about it as well. I don't know what's going on. This is just, we've just really run into Patagonia. I'm really wondering how far we're gonna get today. If it gets worse, and especially now that we're trying to drive highway speeds, or we're gonna be driving faster, I don't know how the Tuk Tuk's gonna handle it. We made it, we're intact. We got 0 punctures still. There's some decent tires considering. That last 5 kilometers was really hectic, but Tori continues to prove to me that she's got what it takes, you know? She's shown us that we can do 4,000 meters altitude, we can go distance on dirt and really ugly terrain, pretty much problem free, you know? Anyway, we're off to the races. Patty still doesn't want to do her business. Got Route 40 now there. We've pulled up off this dirt road into like a pretty classic looking fuel station. I passed it and was like, no, I'm gonna turn back because I want food. Patty, relax, relax. What's up? What's up? I think the wind's bothering her. Anyway, I didn't pull into here thinking fuel, I was thinking food. We got food and there's no fuel anyway, so it is what it is. But this really caught my eye, a sticker full fuel pump. So these two as well. We got 3 empanadas for the road. I've already seen the price increase. I know it's a fuel station in the middle of nowhere. They can charge whatever they want, but yeah, for the 3 empanadas, it was the same as like a full plate of food. It's a meat empanada, we'll see how it goes. That's hitting the spot. I left this morning, left the campsite thinking, hey, I want to find empanadas, and we did. How well can you guys see that? This is something, hey? It's just been a feast for my eyes as we're driving along, and that is the most famous sight of El Chaltén, that double-crested mountain range out there. You search up El Chaltén in Google Images, I think that's one of the first that comes to mind as well, which is what I kind of saw years back when I was researching a bit of Argentina and why I'd want to check out the Patagonia. Just plain flatness, and then that we've come from, and then how these mountain ranges just spring out of nowhere. And just beyond these mountains is the Chilean border again. The Andes Mountains kind of runs between the two countries, which is why the border was formed. So it's interesting, maybe pondering if this Andes mountain range was more easterly, would Argentina's land be more cut off? Probably. We're gonna get there. We're gonna probably speak to the tourism office, see how much we can do with Patty, and see how much we could see. Patty's chilling. I'm just trying to take it in, but obviously there's just so much going on. Check that out, a crazy part of the world. And it's interesting to even rule out my expectations of how I didn't think there'd be any barren landscape like we're driving along, or behind us, I mean. It's just so much going on. Check that out, a crazy part of the world. And it's interesting to even rule out my expectations of how I didn't think there'd be any barren landscape like we're driving along, or behind us, I mean. It's just so much going on. Check that out, a crazy part of the world. And it's interesting to even rule out my expectations of how I didn't think there'd be any barren landscape like we're driving along, or behind us, I mean. I thought it would just be all mountains, all snow. Behind me is a sign saying, "Welcome to the National Park of Glaciers." That's insanity. Straight through these poles, you can already see one glacier right here. A huge one, and on the way in, just over this hillside, was a little mini one. Even right down to, I'm like self-conscious when there's cars driving past, but I know that there's gonna be people on YouTube watching this, so it's like, if people see me in person chatting my stuff, it is what it is. Even right down to the layers that are in these mountains. Everything, like Mother Nature, hey, it's something else. Something else. We made it. We made it to the glacier park here in the Patagonias in Argentina. You were just a doggo, a beautiful dog in a refuge in Bolivia. And look at the life we're living together. Freaking hell, eh? And this Tuk Tuk as well. Straight from the manufacturing mechanics, shipped over from India, straight to Bolivia. And now we're just traveling in it. How good is that? And I like that. The Tuk Tuk looks good beside this. National Park of Glaciers, Argentina. Has like a deer or some sort. This is epic, eh? This is epic.
I was lost in the woods, under dust, and the fairies found me. And they led the way, they cleared the way to my heart. All the hurt, all the pain under the skin, I had fainted. And they carried me, they cleared the way to my heart. Thank you to magic for rescuing me.
In this beautiful mountain backdrop, we're just coming across the highway that's behind me, and I've just pulled off. Looks like it's a straight shot to this lake, camp, and then maybe get to El Chaltén tomorrow. But from the highway, turning off, I'm talking about you in a sec, Patty, is this sign. So this is the first of maybe a few saying prohibited to enter with pets to the national park. And then there's the sign in English beside it, the dog with the cross through it. So we're not gonna be able to do some things on this trip because we have Patty, but there's a lot of things that we're gonna be able to do. G'day, boss. There's a lot of things that we're gonna be able to do because we have her, like wild camping without anxiety, for an example. The great thing about not doing any research is I don't know exactly what's down this path. So it's like you kind of don't know what you're missing out on if you don't know what you're missing out on. So we continue on to El Chaltén. We're probably not too far, as we can literally just see that mountaintop here in front of us. So very close. It's getting late, so as I was just talking about a wild camp, it'd be a great time to start looking for one, but we're just so close to this city town, El Chaltén. It's gonna be looking like we're not gonna be able to wild camp around the town, obviously. We might have to do a hostel night. So that behind me, this is a campground, but not for tents. It's just a free spot that's just become like a trailer park setup. Paddy's in the Tuk Tuk. I've just parked up, and that's the tourist information house in front of us, amongst the gorgeous landscape of El Chaltén. How good. Argentinian flag up above. Now that we are in the national park, I've seen one sign on the way in saying no drone flying.
get it completely, so we're gonna respect that. And I think wild camping is no longer a possibility, especially the fact that they would be checking for that because they would be aware that that happens in this region. And I do not want to cop a fine or disrespect the park, especially with it looking so good like it is. That is gorgeous. Before I get, there's just like hiking signs and stuff, look past the lookouts and stuff. Before I get too excited, I'm gonna go definitely find out what we can actually do with dogs. Like, already seeing. It's got the English translation, do not enter with pets. So I don't know whether I don't know which hike that's referring to. Hopefully not all of them, but we'll go figure it out. Saying you have to register to do this hike. No drones and no dogs, no bikes as well. So that is what it is, eh? Relax, yeah? So I'm just gonna go to this supermarket, get something to eat. That's gonna make my head a lot better, be able to think a lot better about what we're gonna do. Because we can't really wild camp and we potentially might not find a place to stay. I might talk with these lads to see where the hostel is so we can just go straight to the hostel. They might be able to cool around for a place. If they don't have a place, we'll see what happens. Yep, never mind on that supermarket raid. The line is longer than it was for the fuel station. So I really just want to find some bread or a cheap feed. I'm in that mentality I'm gonna spend on something here. So we wanna just at least make it more okay and eat rather on a budget. I'm more conscious about filming in public, knowing that there's a lot of foreigners around and more than likely they can fully understand what I'm saying. It completely changes the game. This is currently Main Street, gorgeous town. Really nice vibes actually. Currently just chomping into the last empanada here. Just bought it from the panaderia behind me. Jamón y queso. So it's a ham and cheese, but there's more ham than anything, which is incredible. They went generous on it, which is sweet considering it was like $2 US, which is triple what they usually are. It's $2 USD per empanada now. So that's the prices that we're like facing now that we're in the touristic region of Argentina here. So it's the price you pay for beautiful landscapes, I guess, and to eat empanadas in them. Just beside the panaderia is the hostel, so I really just procrastinating finding out my fate before we go in there, and then within the first 5 seconds, probably them just say, "Nah, we're full," and then, or we don't accept dogs and you won't find anything, and then we'll be screwed. The hostel of travelers. We'll see how we go. They're robbing people on the exchange rate, I can tell you that. ¿Hay habitación?
Sí, compartida y privada.
Con baño compartir, pero
¿Compartido?
habitación privada. Tengo una perita también. ¿Aceptas mascotas?
Tengo un departamento.
Sí, departamento. Ah, ¿es la única?
Sí, acá 155.
Gracias.
De nada.
Chao, chao. 150 USD for an apartment because they don't allow pets just inside the private rooms. 150, it was just not even just like a little jab. The way she said it as well, she's full uppercut into it with a hip rotation, smacked me in the jaw with that price. But it is what it is, eh? You gotta make a living. All right, but these legends behind me, they told me just around the corner you'll find something that's pet friendly, but they don't know prices. And they don't know if there's room. We'll see how that goes. Like we're fully setting ourselves up for failure and disappointment. Going to probably the most expensive town in Argentina and just thinking we're gonna walk in high season with zero issues. Ah well.
Town's gorgeous though. I think we just want to camp the night, even though it'll be like an arm and a leg for a tent space. I think that's going to be the go. I think screw a hostel. It's going to be cooked expensive. This could be the go. One of these could be us. Relax, yeah? Just gonna park it up and go to this administration building. Check that out. There's a bunch of tents there. Perdón, ¿aceptas peritos o perros? ¿Aceptas mascotas? Perdón.
Perros solo en el sector de camping y no pueden estar aquí adentro.
Sí, sí, sí.
Sí, se aceptamos.
Ah,
y
perfecto.
Bajo tu responsabilidad.
Sí, 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 sí. Claro.
No lo dejes todo el día y que cause problemas.
No, no, no.
Por favor.
Claro. Voy a volver.
Dale, sin problema.
All right, this is the spot. We've got the spot and this is it. It's gonna be an absolute scene rolling in because like there's already an insane reaction when Argentinian legends see us. But when foreign legends see us and like just look at just what the heck are you doing, my brother? You're just an Aussie that just came over and bought a tuk tuk and adopted a dog? Are you serious? So she was just saying, yeah, we accept dogs, just as long as you don't leave them here like it's a babysitter's thing. They just said, don't leave them here all day. And I'm like, nah. Well, would you look at that? We're surrounded by some vans. The tent will go right here. Some legends that came out and were just like, yo, we've been following you for ages. We're just watching your vids. Just some legends. You see that, that silver fern? You got some New Zealand legends. So it was nice to chat some somewhat Aussie slang and for them to chuck it back. So it was a good time. We're off to try to walk up this cliffside is the current plan. We'll see how far we get. A lot of foreigners, obviously, tourists and that. So yeah, it's cool to just chat with fellow-minded legends about recommendations on where I've been and get their advice back from them on where we should go. So no, what a time.
Waffleria was open.
Gorgeous town, but I reckon there's more English speakers than there are Spanish speakers, like just a bunch of foreigners. And it's cool to see again, like you can just feel it, the sun in the air. Hey, come on, here, come. So this here's apparently the only hike that you can do with dogs. And it starts where you cross this bridge and we'll go somewhere up there apparently. Wild. So we'll do this today and then like enjoy it while the weather's nice. And that way, essentially, if there's not much more we can do in the morning, we might just continue on south. Fortunately, unfortunately, it is what it is. It's just not much that's dog friendly. There are some mega winds around. She's not fond on the way this bridge is moving. You're getting there, not bad, eh?
So that's the unfortunate reality. We arrived to the Park of Glaciers but cannot see them as a team, so it'll have to be something for later in life. Of course this is disappointing for you all at home, but I'm sure there's thousands of videos of glacier treks already on YouTube. But there's really only one team doing this in a tuk-tuk, which clearly makes for some unique challenges.
Check that out, eh? The wind is just insane up here. We didn't film so much to get up, but Patty did great. Yeah, she's a bit nervous with the wind, so we're gonna get down before we get blown off this mountain, man. Vamos. What a day, what a day. How good. Yeah, Patty, that wind is cooked. Well, we gotta get out of here. There's some madness.